Right, boys, how yous doing? I don't know where my body pillow is. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just find it. But aye, boys, we are ranking. I'll run through them in a second once I get my body pillow back. That's weird. Can I find my body pillow? Oh well. Which usually gets the rice box, but extra fill it, but it's gone. It's now £8 and that doesn't even get you a drink. Oof. Anyway, boys, we've got new rankings here. You can maybe guess what we're doing by the rankings. Here's my mouse. We're doing the rankings from fucking class being the best. The bee's knees to be the second one. Quite good actually to the third. Alright, meh, and worse than the Ring Terror's Realm. And we are ranking Resident Evil games. No. Wait, I should have done my own tier list because I'll do that for start of November because what I'm doing for my tier list, I'm doing 100 games I've beaten on stream. Oh boys, I'm actually happy 100. Ooh, I just beat Castlevania. So we're playing, we're doing all mainline Resident Evil games. Get ready for some hot takes here, boys. And is this in chronological order? No, it's not. Otherwise, yeah, because Village that certainly did not come out after before Resident Evil Gaiden. You ready for some wrong takes? But what we'll start off with, boys, is the original Resident Evil. So for it's not here, but the only version of this I've played, I've only ever played the DS version, Deadly Silence, which was okay. So get ready for. The original Resident Evil is alright. It's aged like fucking milk though. So that's a really hot take of mine. Isn't even all of them. What's missing? Because I was looking through it, trying to think. Let me think. Revelations 2. There's Darkside Chronicles. Oh, you're right. Umbrella. What we'll do is we'll say this. Wait, it does. Whereabouts? Oh, yeah, the Wesker one. The only one that it's even got Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D, which right, okay, and we'll get into this. So Resident Evil 1 hasn't aged great, but it's the game that started it all, so I can't give it a rating lower than any of these. But it's mostly aged badly, and I never played it when it first came out, so Deadly Silence isn't there, is it? No, but I'm counting that as this because it's the only version I've played of it. But then again, they don't seem to have done ports because they've only got Code Veronica X here as opposed to Code Veronica. But I don't actually know the difference between those two games. Right, so we've got Resident Evil 1 is in the alright tier. That's a really hot take. X support. I thought it was like enhanced or whatever, but here we go. We have Resident Evil 2. We're starting this off, boys. The original Resident Evil 2 is fucking class. Played it for the first time over the last literally over the last like, couple of weeks on stream, and it's really good, really fucking good. Really enjoy it. I can see it's a massive. Keep it in the alright tier for now. It might move up. It is enhanced, so I think I thought it had like extra stuff in it. Actually, I'm gonna look at my copy now. Actually, I'll wait until we get to Code Veronica before that. Resident Evil 3. So, I've played a little bit of the original Resident Evil 3. I'm gonna play it on stream soon. Like to finish it, but I'm gonna put it in a quite good actually tier. I say mixed things. The only person I've heard say really negative things about is Jason. He's not as big into it. Resident 3 is definitely right here. I'll leave it up here because I played a little bit and I enjoyed what I liked. I enjoyed what I seen, but I'd keep it here. I'd say I like the Nemesis. Nemesis is really cool. I think I might be making this up, but I think it was a tech demo for Resident Evil 3 that made Dino Crisis because they were trying to work on AI and stuff. Because they wanted Nemesis to actually feel like he was chasing you down as opposed to just almost zombies, you know. But what I've played of it, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 3. Right, Code Veronica. So, I really like this game. I had a great time playing it when I was younger. But there is one boss fight in the game which is genuinely bullshit. And I don't mean this as a me going fighting Dracula going, oh fucking Johnny Dracula, this is bullshit. You know, I mean like genuinely bullshit. Like, there's a tyrant fight you do on an airplane, and if you don't have enough ammo to beat him, you physically cannot do it, making night runs impossible. Like, you can't beat them unless you have enough ammo. And as far as I know, there's no way to like go back and sort. Like, basically, there's no save point. If you save, there's no bit you can go back to and get more ammo, if you know what I mean. It's quite strict with ammo and it's annoying. Aye. So, being that, but its highs are really high. So I'm going to put it in the quite good actually tier. Right, now we have the Resident Evil remake. I'm probably going to put it in the best. I think it's one of the best survival horror games ever made. On top of just being one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. I don't know if I'd put... So the ways I work it is like... So say, like, this is like number 1. This being number 2. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than Resident Evil 2. But either way, imagine these are like neck and neck. Because these are probably... Like, this is probably one of my... Like, see if someone asked me, like, I want to play classic survival horror. Play Resident Evil 2 HD. The version that's on Steam. Or... Actually, the version on Steam is probably the most accessible way to play it. Play it, it's fucking amazing. It came out 6 years ago, years after the OG, and looks insane for it. How can we talk about the difference? And like, for example, I think 6 years ago, when was 6 years ago from here? It was 2017. What was a big game in 2017? Off the top of my head, like God of War, maybe? And while God of War still looks really good, but the jump from here, or from here to here, is something else. It's unreal, you know? Anyways, yeah, so one of the best horror games ever made, one of the best survival horror games ever made, and yeah, fucking class game. I wanted to play it for years because I didn't have a GameCube, and I really, Mickey, didn't know that you could play Wii games, or you could play GameCube games on the Wii. So I would just watch this on YouTube constantly, going, this game looks amazing, and then I remember they released a Wii port of it, which I never got, because your old dad bought fucking Umbrella Chronicles instead. And then it came out for the... I got the PS4 version that had the... It was called the Origins Collection. It has 0 and has 1 on it. And I played through that in like a weekend. Fucking loved them. But aye, Resident Evil 1 remake, fucking classic. Right. Oh! This one's gotta be a bit spicy. I really like Resident Evil 0. I know a lot of people don't. It's got some enemies that are a bit bullshit, but I really enjoy it. I never played through all of it. It's good. I'd probably say like, I don't know if it's either a really high, quite good actually, or low bee's knees. But I really enjoy it. That's the really hot take issue. People really don't like Resident Evil 0 for some weird reason. The only thing I don't like about it, the only jumping out, like, thing that jumps out at me is there's quite a lot of narrative dissonance between here and here. Because, so, in Resident Evil 0, Rebecca solos a tyrant. Rebecca kills a tyrant all by herself, and it's fucking cool. And Rebecca's really cool. And then in Resident Evil 0, she's scared of. Is it a hunter she's terrified of? I mean, I guess you could say she's tired. Mike, can you explain this Johnny Pattern Jonathan stream? We're worried. I started calling every enemy in Castlevania Jimmy or Johnny when I just said, like, so it was like, oh, look at this Jimmy Wee guy, or Jimmy Bones or whatever, or, you know, or Johnny, and then it just became Johnny Dracula. It became every enemy was Jimmy or Johnny. Anyways, Resident Evil 0 I really like, but there is quite a lot. It's weird. That's my only negative take with it. Also, it's weird that there's not item boxes, so you just, the main lobby, or the first area of the area you're in, like your lobby area, if you know what I mean, like your mansion sort of front room, is just littered with items because you can just drop them on the floor. Anyways, Resident Evil 4. Original Resident Evil 4, right. I played through it recently. It's good. It's really good. In fact, actually, it's probably top of bee's knees. It's got a couple of wee issues, but is overall really, really good. That's when people say the rot setting with the action stuff. But the thing is, so what it does is it makes you feel like an action hero fighting some enemies, and then it'll throw some big enemy at you, and it'll humble you. Like, for example, you'll feel good shooting a couple of villagers, and then suddenly Dr. Salvador appears with his big potato sack and chainsaw. It done the horror mix right, aye. Then you'll be fighting cultists in the castle, and you have to fight that thing. Oh, I don't know what it's called. You know, the big blind thing that's got the Wolverine claws. And then, of course, everyone remembers the Regenerators and the Iron Maidens being really cool. But that last part outside of the Regenerators and Iron Maidens, I feel is really weak. So I can't give it, just because that last part, it's not in the, like, the god tier, you know, it's probably just in the bee's knees. It's got an amazing start. Hot take, I really like, Ashley is annoying, but she's meant to be annoying, and I like the escort sort of system. I like it, it's fun, enjoy it, you know. I like it when you need to get rid of Ashley, you just chuck her in a bin. And there's one bit that always sticks in my head as a kid. So I played, my dad's pal actually worked at Game and got a promo copy of it. I say promo copy, it wasn't like unreleased, it was literally, you know, the one you put in, because Game used to have a big TV and a couch with like a PS2, and they'd put that game in there, you could sit and play like the first level of it or whatever. I had a copy of that he gave me. I sat and played through all that, and it didn't have separate ways on it, which was really weird. But yeah, played through that, and I always remember the bit where you put Ashley in the bin and the two Chainsaw Sisters attack you, and that bit stuck in my head. Honestly, Ashley was honestly way more annoying in the remake. I don't know if I'd say it. You didn't have to protect her and shit like that, but I actually like the protect side of it. Right, you know what I found out? So Resident Evil 4 had ideas that actually, one of the ideas they had for Ashley was that, well, no, you play as Ashley, and you have the, what is it? You've got Ashley, or you play as Ashley, and you've got a dog protecting you who's infected with Las Plagas. That pitched and turned into Haunting Ground. So, without this, we wouldn't have got one of my personal favourite horror games. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. But again, to be honest, boys, I didn't actually play the remake. I watched Megan play it, and she did get a bit annoyed at it a bit. Wouldn't have gotten DMC. That's a good point as well, because a pitch from early Resident Evil 4 became Devil May Cry. What was he called? He was like Johnny. Was he? I don't mean to come in with a Johnny part, but it was called something else. He wasn't called. Was it Johnny Redgrave or something like that? It was Johnny Dan. It was something like that. Tony Redgrave. That was it. It was Tony Redgrave. That was the initial pitch for Resident Evil 4, and then they went nah, and then it turned into Devil May Cry, which is again fucking class. But aye, Resident Evil 4, the bee's knees tier. Right, this is where we get into the bit slightly spicy. What I might do is I might skip the main ones because I want them to be like the main event. Right, so Resident Evil Survivor. I've played only a little bit of this. I played a little bit, and it's probably bad. Mainly because it just controls pretty bad. But I can tell you the reason for the control. Basically, they were wanting to bring a gun con in, and you were meant to play it with a gun con, which would have made sense, would have controlled a bit better. But I believe this game released just after Columbine, so they've taken out the gun functionality and didn't release the gun peripheral. So it controls a bit rough. It's weird. It's clearly lower budget. It's being completely forgotten about in the canon, and nobody talks about this game anymore. So it's also just a bit weird. Like, there's literally a room you fight, and there's like 30 Mr. X's. So I don't know if I put. But that's the thing. I don't have like an overwhelmingly negative feeling about it. So it's probably in the meh tier. To be honest, it's bad, but it's not like, whenever I think about it, it's not like flipping tables but angry, you know. Resident Evil Gaiden, right? Resident Evil Gaiden tries. It tries a lot. It's on a Game Boy. It has some interesting ideas. I'll put it at top of meh. S tier, straight away. Better than Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. It tries a lot. There's Protomia, the Game Boy guy. It tries a lot. It's got Barry as the main character, so I can't say anything bad about it. But it's definitely limited what it does. It tries something different with the battle system, which is interesting to say the least. But I can't really give it any more than meh. Go ahead, head over and say hi to John. Oh, no problem, Cashy. Thank you so much for joining us. Resident Evil Dead Aim. I've played a little bit of this, and it's good. That's a hot take. I like it. It's not the best Resident Evil game by any means, but it's good. It's interesting. It's fun. It's set on a ship, like a cruise ship, and I like sort of thing. I played this age ago with the gun con, so I might have a bit more of a rose tinted glasses here, because let's be honest, boys, when you're playing anything with the gun con, anything feels better. It's like just how I miss gun controls. I know you can get one for your PC, which is really expensive, and I might actually do that in the future, but we'll see. Anyways, right, here we go. These are the same game. Outbreak 1 and 2 are the exact same game. Outbreak 2 is basically a map pack. And right, where would I put Outbreak? So, I have never finished a level in Outbreak, mainly because I never played it online. I've played it, and I'm like, right, I see what's going on here. The levels are cool. There's cool gimmicks. You know, you're fighting interesting bosses. You've got the levels are all very different. It's very gimmicky, you know. But see, if you're playing it single player, it's fucking solid, boys. It's I can imagine it's a really, really fun experience if you're playing it multiplayer. I like the characters. The characters are fun, you know, because they're all like, I don't want to say one note, but you know what to expect from them if you look at them and you hear their like job description. You know, they're very one note, but they're not meant to be like. Because the thing's not about the character, it's not about the story. It's just about putting you in familiar situations. Because it's another one that's set in fucking Raccoon City, in Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 time. But you go to all these different weird locales and have, like, for example, there's one, it's in an old hospital out by the wilderness, like in the woods. And it's a plant that's taken over it, but there's this guy cutting about who's got like this, he's got this executioner hood on, he's running about with an axe. And it ends up it was his wife that was experimented on by Umbrella in the hospital. But when she died, a flower sprouted from her body and taken over the hospital. So what he's been doing is he thinks that flower is his wife, so he goes up, kills hitchhikers, and feeds them to the flower. It's got some really cool moments, it's got some really cool bits, but I can't give it any more than, because just my personal experience with it, because I never played it online, I can only give it a high alright tier. Just by the map difference, I probably put 2 above a 1, because right, the first level in 2 is you're in Raccoon City Zoo, and you're trying to get through it, and you have to fight all these infected animals. It's really fucking cool. I know I've just gushed over how cool it is and stuff, but I can't give it any more than alright, just because I'm like, right, I'll put bottom of quite good actually. Right. Now we're on to the light gun games. Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles. I really like these. Again, might be just because, you know, when you've got a wee zapper in hand and you're playing light gun games, I fucking love that shit. I thought they were really fun wee light gun shooters. They were retelling parts of Resident Evil, and they were using a lot of assets from Outbreak and you know, the recent sort of Resident Evils. So the games look a bit janky. They don't feel like they have the production value of like a Resident Evil 4 or whatever, but they were actually my first time experiencing the stories of these games, you know, like Resident Evil 1, 3, and 2. But overall, I had a really fun time with them. I feel like they condense the story really well in some cases. Sometimes they butcher the story, but I feel like 2, they condense it really well, because you still hit all the high points of meeting Sherry, meeting Ada, fighting Mr. X, fighting Birkin. I actually feel it works. I'll do Umbrella Chronicles, but never bothered getting them when I could. They're good. I'd suggest them, but they seem fun. They're just fun light gun shooters, and also they have interesting side stories. Like, for example, in Umbrella Chronicles, you have the bit where you play as Wesker after he wakes up, and you play as Ada after you think she dies and falls to her death. So you do a bit where Ada's escaping from. It's just fun wee sort of side stories. And Darkside Chronicles, you play as Leon and Krauser when they were doing a mission in South America, the one that leads to Krauser leaving whatever he was in, you know, and makes him go off and become a mercenary. It's pretty cool. They've just looked at like, right, what backstory was left? Let's fill these in, you know. It's pretty good. They're pretty fun. Right, this one hurts me, because I bought this game and I stand this for a little while. This game's fun, but it's so light on content. Take away the multiplayer, it's got some fun characters, but apart from that, it's bottom of meh. Resident Evil, the Mercenaries 3D, also, you can't delete saves in it. I know that's not a little thing, but I bought this game pre-owned and had a save that was from the end of the game. So I just had to play, like, I don't know, I don't know why this didn't offer. Worse than Survivor. Oh, I don't. If I put it there, I'd say. Right. Can I just skip one here? Just one. Yeah, it's quite. But that's the thing that really annoys. That's the thing that really jumps out at me the game. Apart from the fact it feels cheap, mainly because it is just Resident Evil 5. A lot of assets and other things are chucked in there, and it just feels very like it's not. It's not got a mode like, say, I loved Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries. I believe Resident Evil 5 had the best version of Mercenaries. I played that ridiculous amount. But what it is like smaller parts of it that are cut into missions that doesn't really work. But see, if you just give me a full game that was just expanded Mercenaries, I'd be well up for that shit. That's what I expected out of a game. And it's fun for what it is, but overall, the biggest feeling I get from that game is disappointment, so I can't give it any more than meh. But can I jump over one now and just go straight away? I've played a tiny bit of this, boys. Tiny bit of it. And let me tell you something. It's fucking dog shit. It's really bad. Hot take. Universally panned game is bad. This is when Capcom wanted an esport. But I feel like they didn't understand it in the way that esports come out of games that are fun. And because they're fun, communities build around them, as opposed to just trying to make one, and it's dog shit. There's no recognisable Resident Evil characters. I'm not saying that's what you need in a Resident Evil game. Look at Resident Evil 7, fucking one of the best. But it feels it feels like a mobile phone game that's been ported up. It feels really bad. It's terrible, absolutely dog shit. It's got literally hardly no players playing it anymore. So I do not play Umbrella Corps. I got it for like £1 out of curiosity, played it, thought I've wasted £1 here. Right. Here's a real hot take, boys. I think Operation Raccoon City was quite good, actually. Is it a good Resident Evil game? Oh, no. But it's just SOCOM. If you like SOCOM, and the thing is, I played this game single player and I struggled a little bit because it is hard. See if you played it multiplayer. I guess that's cheating, because you could say that about anything. You could have fun playing any game multiplayer, I guess. But it's like a fandom game. Not a fandom, it's like a fan service game, because you're basically, oh look, you're an Umbrella group hunting down Leon Kennedy and Claire. And look, while you're fighting through it, you fight off against Mikhail, or you run into Ada Wong. You know, it's just like you're going through these set pieces that you recognise. You might run into Mr. X, or there was a fun segment where you have to break in you have to break into the Umbrella lab to steal a parasite from Mr. X to put back in Nemesis. But you wake up Mr. X and you have to escape from him in the lab. It's a bit janky, but overall it's pretty fun. I can't say more. If you play it online, it's fun. I imagine it being really fun. It's a decent shooter. It's not a Resident Evil. It's not a, well, it is a Resident Evil game, but it's not like a Resident Evil game in the traditional sense. As far as a survival horror game, it's not a good one. As a squad shooter, it's okay. And you're running through sort of fan service moments, and you've got either generic not even generic soldiers, try and give them character, but it's sort of like generic Spec Ops are the edgiest fucking Umbrella Corps you've ever seen, that are basically like, look at Hunk, but it's Hunk, but look how sexy he is, you know, or look at how big he is, or, you know, it's fun. I wouldn't go like, oh boys, we need to play Umbrella Chronicles, but it's fun, yeah. Look how sexy this Hunk is. Exactly. Right. So, this one. Resident Evil Resistance. Right, I've got a rant about these two. Because Resident Evil does this thing where they release these games alongside other games they released. Resistance alongside Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Reverse along with Resident Evil Village, but it didn't come out for ages. They have, so Resistance was a really cool idea for a multiplayer game. Basically, it's in the sort of Dead by Daylight type thing. One person plays as a dungeon master, kind of, and it's kind of like a card game. So they get a bunch of cards, and their cards are like spawn zombie here, use turret here, lock door here, and they get like so many points. It's pretty cool. Then you have people playing survivors, which is a really cool idea, but Capcom didn't support us. They introduced like one new map and a new survivor and a new, because they had a bunch of OCs, like original characters. Kind of worked, you know. That's kind of, yeah. I like the Evil Dead game. I thought it was really cool. But at least the Evil Dead game kind of got support for a while. Like, it's dead now, but it got support for about a year, roughly. While Resistance, after one update, was dead in the water. It had like 4 maps that after you play through them once were pretty easy to get through. Had some really cool ideas, but I'm really sorry, Resistance. You're at the bottom, alright. I had a lot of fun with you, but you were really limited in what you could do, and Capcom just didn't support you. Reverse is dog shit, boys. Reverse is a shitty deathmatch shooter with a filter over it, and whenever you die, you mutate into a monster and have to kill ours. But it doesn't even, like, I don't want to be this guy that complains about, like, oh, this doesn't make sense. But if you're playing as Ada Wong, right, in a deathmatch, and you die as Ada Wong, you turn into Jack Baker. What the fuck? Pretty sure when they announced it, they were showing it as a main thing in Resident Evil 3's side announcement. Yeah, Reverse could have been something really cool. See if they just went, right, we're going to support this for ages. We're going to put new characters in. We're going to put new areas in. And Resident Evil's got such a, I don't want to say a rich lore, because the lore in Resident Evil, boys, spoiler alert, is pretty dog shit. But you know, we've got enough noticeable villains and characters you could put in. Like, you could put in every single Resident Evil protagonist, and fuck it, I've actually got I was bored in work one day and I wrote down a pitch for a game on my phone, because we're big into Call of Duty Warzone at the time, and I was like, oh, you could do like a mercenaries game like this. Like, you could, you know, you have a fucking massive roster of Resident Evil bad guys, and you could put in like kind of similar to Resistance. Like, one player could play it could be like levels you need to fight through, and you run into like, oh look, there's Lady Dimitrescu, or you're fighting through her castle, or you're fighting through, you know, the village in Resident Evil 4, or you're fighting through, you know, the RPD. It's really like such a cool idea, but it's never supported. But Reverse is dog shit. Reverse feels like it's put together in like a week, and it's dog shit. And just don't play Reverse. Reverse is probably it's not as bad as Umbrella Corps though. But Reverse on R1, they said they'd launch it alongside Village. It launched about a year and a half later, and had like maybe a week of support, and just been left to die. So yeah, Capcom, what to do is just, because that's the thing, I'm saying this game's dog shit, but see if they actually supported it. They could have tried to make something of it, but it feels like they're just making multiplayer games, and when they don't catch on, they're just going, throwing their hands in there going, oh well, instead of like things like Dead by Daylight, which Dead by Daylight had ups and downs, but they really kept going with that, and now it's caught on. Like, I'm not a massive fan of Dead by Daylight, but you know what I mean? Like, they didn't just let it die. They went, fuck it, we're gonna try and do something with this, you know? Like, when Fortnite launched, it wasn't the biggest thing in the fucking world. I'm not saying Resident Evil Reverse could have been like Fortnite, or Resident Evil Resistance could have been Fortnite, but you know what I mean? Like, they didn't launch as successes straight away, and then they went, right, let's really work on this and try and make something with it, you know? Anyway, boys, what we'll do is Resident Evil Revelations. Hot take, but as a Resident fan, I'm no after a DVD clone or any multiplayer bad. I guess it's just me, like, in theory this is the kind of what it could have been, but they didn't support it enough. It's like they pitched it as a DVD sort of, you know, big multiplayer game, but then just never made anything of it. They supported fucking Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries more. They supported Resident Evil 6 Mercenaries more than they supported Resident Evil Resistance. Anyway, boys, we'll do the Revelation series, then we'll get into all the mainline ones. So, Resident Evil Revelations is quite good, actually. I'll probably put it about here. I mean, it is a bit limited considering it came out on the 3DS, but for what it is, it's a really good Resident Evil game. It's again on a fucking cruise liner, which is a really cool setup. It's kind of limited with enemies, I'll say that. But then again, being limited with enemies is something that one of my favourite Resident Evil games is as well. So I'd recommend Resident Evil Revelations. It jumped between characters, something awful. Some of the characters are dog shit, but when you play as like Chris and Jill, it's fucking good. Especially again, given that it's on the 3DS. It's been ported to everyone now, so you probably got it on Steam, you know. But it's a good wee game. I'd suggest it. Revelations 2. Right, here is the really hot take. I fucking love Revelations 2. Revelations 2 does this really fun thing, especially if you're playing it co-op. One character's like a combat one, and one's more like, say, exploration based. Because me and Megan played through it, one of the first games we played through together. and basically so you have one character called Moira who, say you're playing as Claire and Moira. Moira's got a crowbar, but Moira's more for like unlocking stuff and searching for stuff. Claire's more combat based. Then he plays Barry and Natalia. And Natalia can do stuff like she can get through sort of narrow things. She can see invisible enemies. She can sense where enemies are going. And Barry's obviously the big gun boy. It's really fun multiplayer. They're really fucking good. It's got mental enemy design. It's got a weird raid mode that I've never actually dug into. But as a multiplayer game, there's also like boss fights you'll have to do where it's like one person will be a sniper, one person will be fighting the enemy up close. It's really fucking fun. You can chuck bricks and people say, exactly, it's such a good game. Such a fun wee game, and I think it's a really cool idea having one person play as non-combative character and one person as a combative character. Like, imagine if you could play Last of Us multiplayer. Not that Last of Us is like the best game ever, hot take. But like one person can play as Ellie, one person can play as Joel. That'd be kind of cool. I like that idea. Right. So we've now finished the sort of spin-off games and up to Resident Evil 5. Right. Resident Evil 5 has its issues. But overall, I think it's probably the Resident Evil game I put the most time into. I beat this co-op multiple times. I beat it professional mode, unlocked every single weapon in Infinite Ammo on the 360, finished the DLC, done everything, got really into Mercenaries, including like Mercenaries Reunited on fucking the PS4 version. It's class. Got really into the Versus mode. Actually was third in the world at one point with my Wesker Midnight in Versus mode for points. And then the hackers got into it. I beat it once and that was enough for me. I'll probably put it in the bee's knees. I really like this game. The forced co-op is sucks in it, but boys, I'm gonna give you one thing in it. So, Resident Evil 5 is stupid, but there's a boss fight where you're fighting Wesker, and the only way to beat him is to sneak up on him with an RPG, fire that RPG, he hears it coming, turns around, catches it, and you need to shoot it while it's in his hands. Fucking insane. I'm saying this as if like there's points I don't really like in it, like the midpoint where you're in sort of the village is a bit weak, and then the ending where you're just fighting sort of soldiers is a bit weak. But then there's scenes like, you know, Wesker and Johnny Mystery Person versus you and Sheva in a tag match, which is really cool. The start of it's really cool where it's like you're fighting through the village, and then there's like they do really cool monsters like the Executioner with a giant hammer, the Chainsaw Man turns up again. And it's just, like, there's really cool segments in it. I really enjoy Resident Evil 5. So, boys, here's the big one. Big giraffe blowjob, Resident Evil 6. So, the hot take is, I like Resident Evil 6. In reality, I like Resident Evil 6, but I can't put it any higher than quite good, actually. Because, I'll be honest, boys, I played through that game about 4 or 5 times. I knew it'd be there. I still have no clue what happens in the story. It's so jumbled. As far as a horror game, it's not a great horror game. But see, it feels more like Vanquish than it does Resident Evil with the controls, if you know what I mean, because it's so fast paced and so it's a great action game. See, if you're playing it co-op and you don't really care about Resident Evil, it's fucking class. It's got some really cool set pieces with the bosses, but with the story being a bit of a mess. With overall, there's some bits that are really weak in it. I can't put it any higher than the bee's knees. I can't say I enjoy it more than Resident Evil 5 or 0. I really like 6. But yeah, that's my hot take. I like 6. I really like 6. That's my really hot take. I will defend 6 as a great action game, as a great co-op action game. As a Resident Evil game, it's not the best. And yeah, it's got some bits that really annoy me in the story. For example, so Chris here is like, he feels all hopeful after 5 and is like, oh, we're gonna, you know, that's it, we're gonna save the world again. He's a drunken mess in 6. I don't know from here, I don't know where the jump is from here to here, but yeah, 6 is a bit there, I'd say. Right, Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is fucking amazing. I was really wary of it when it came out because it just looked like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was really wary. I was really, oh, I don't know about that. But then I remember you're fighting Jack Baker, and you have a chainsaw battle, and it's like, oh boys, Resident Evil's back, boys, here we go. Because Resident Evil has the thing I love in it. So Resident Evil has, yes, it's horror, but it's also that mental blockbuster action. That's the bit I feel people don't talk about enough. It is insane, if you know what I mean. And Resident Evil 7 has that in spades. The only drawback I have with Resident Evil 7 is that it's really limited with enemies. You basically fight the molded and the bosses. But as far as atmosphere goes, Resident Evil 7 has the best atmosphere in my opinion. Jack Baker's stalking is fucking terrifying. The bosses are really cool. I can't think of a weak segment in it. Like, because the ship's really annoying. I don't really remember the ship as much. I don't. Maybe that's because I think the other segments are really strong. Like, for example, the chainsaw, sort of Texas Chainsaw Family segment that starts really strong. Then the bug sort of segment is really, really strong. And I really like the saw traps of, I forget, is it Lucas? Is that his name? I forget. The son. I forget his character. But, you know what I mean? I really like his sort of, the loads of 7 are carried by the good stuff. I think the good stuff really, like, see where it's high? It's so fucking high. It's, basically, I think it saved the series, because there was as much as I love 6, outside of, like, Revelations coming out, there was a big lull in Resident Evil games, and then this came out, and suddenly we're back. Resident Evil's back, baby. Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think it is neck and neck with the original for the best in the series. I fucking adore it. I love this they changed Leon and Claire's character, and it really works. I really like the sort of dorky Claire, you know, where her and Leon sort of meet each other at the start, and she's like, they're like flirting, but it's really dorky and really, it's really cute. I really like that. I think the atmosphere is really cool. They fixed Mr. X. Mr. X is one of the, like, there's a fine line that you need to have with a stalking enemy, where the stalking enemy needs to be threatening, you need to feel pursued, but it can't get annoying. Hello, janitor from fucking White Day, Rick, where he's just on you constantly, so it gets annoying. But Mr. X is that spot where he doesn't get annoying, but he's still got that, you know, terrifying presence. But the only thing I'd say maybe is, I think it could have added in maybe the B playthroughs. But overall, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 2. I think they supported it for ages afterwards. The interest was that the Ghost Survivors, not Ghost Survivors, Doom Survivors, something like that, The Lost, I can't remember what it was called, but basically you play as, like, the characters you meet through the game who you know die. Like, I think there's one where you play as the mayor's daughter, you play as Kendo, you play as, they're the only ones I can remember right now. I think you play as Marvin, I can't remember. Maybe making the Marvin one up, maybe having a case of the Mandela effect. But Alassie, yeah, that's, you know what I mean, there's plenty of characters, like, there's so much stuff you can do in it. It's really fucking fun. It's, again, see if anyone asks me what Resident Evil game should I play, like nowadays, 2 would be my one. Like, if you're gonna start with any game, start with 2. That's what Megan started with, and Megan fucking adores that game. So we've also got Resident Evil 3. I have a lot of fun with this, but it's on the weaker side. I'd probably put it about here. Quite good, actually. It's, oh, wait, that one's got to piss people off that it's above this. But we'll move it around afterwards. I understand they cut quite a lot out, but I've not actually played the stuff that they cut out. I think the stuff here works really well. I think the start's really cool. I love, my big complaint is I don't feel Nemesis was in it as much. So Mr. X has this feeling where it's so linear and quite short. At the same time, I don't really mind that as much with Resident Evil games. Like, believe me, I like fucking Resident Evil 5's linear as fuck. Resident Evil 6 is basically a corridor shooter. And, well, you know, the Umbrella Chronicles games. But I enjoyed 3. I think Nemesis is really good to make silly cutscenes. He should have been in it more. Mr. X is in it enough where you never forget about him. Or even when you do, you just forget. You think, oh, we're safe now. You hear, dum, dum, dum. You go, oh, fuck, you know. Well, Nemesis has a really cool chase scene at the start. There's one bit that always sticks in my head where you run through a safe room and you get the zombies stop and you think, oh, safe room, safe. And then you run, do a bit, you go get a key and your Nemesis chases you, and as you run back, you run through the safe room and Nemesis just kicks the door in. and Megan, the fear in Megan's face when Nemesis just kicked that door down. She's like, oh god, you know, safe room's not safe. Oh! What the fuck? Did anyone else see that? What the fuck? That didn't pop up in my... That didn't pop up in my, what you call it? My activity thing. That wasn't used up. I am... That was a test. What the fuck? Did I click something? Huh. Well, that's worrying. Anyways, back to it. So, the Resident Evil 4 remakes here. I keep being hacked live. Oh, don't say that. Now I've got the fear. Anyway, Resident Evil Village. I fucking love Resident Evil Village. It's in the bee's knees though. Probably neck and neck with 4, I'd say. It starts off really fucking strong. Really, really strong. Yeah, I think it's so. See, Leia Dimitrescu, fucking amazing. On top of, you know, on top of Horny Mikey, it's a really cool segment. It's really fun. It's really, I really like the whole thing getting chased down by the daughters and then you have to fight Dimitrescu. Really fucking cool. The, what do you call it segment? The doll segment is really fucking cool. Creep Puzzle's fun, and then you do the bit with Moreau, fine, and the bit with Heisenberg, fine. You know, his sort of factory is fine. Then you've got the segment Christmas, okay, and yeah, it starts off really strong, and then I don't want to say it doesn't go off a cliff. It's not quite going off a cliff bad. It's not terrible, but you know what I mean. It doesn't go off. It's not the strongest bit of it, shall we say that? You know, so it starts off really good, and then it starts off at like a 9 out of 10, and then goes to about a 7, if you know what I mean. So there is a noticeable dip, but it's not like... So anyway, so yeah, Resident Evil Village is good. I enjoy it. It's the bee's knees, I'd say. And I think the good parts, like 7, the good parts carry it enough to the bee's knees. But anyway, boys, let's have a look at this list. So I'll probably move... There we go. I like that top row. That's kind of... Actually, we'll work all the way down. Yeah, Umbrella Corps is definitely the worst. Reverse is close. I'll probably move Resident Evil Survivor down. Gaiden, I think, yeah, I prefer over that because Gaiden tries to do something a bit different. Resistance was supported. Did you see the United States can't fall over? Guess he's a President Weeble. Yes, man. How you doing, Michael? Original Resident... we'll put original... I'm just looking at... Yeah, about here, I'll move Operation Raccoon City down 1 to... Alright, there we go. Revolution, Code Veronica X, Nemesis. I'll move Code Veronica... Actually, no. No, I can't move Code Veronica up because I forgot about that bit with the fucking ammo that fucked you. The light gun games, I like them. They're good enough. Then we've got Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 6. Yep, works out. 5074. Yep. Yeah, there we go. That is my final ranking. And if I forgot to put 4, I will put 4. I probably like the remake as much as I like Resident Evil 4. It's got some stuff I prefer, and then some stuff that I don't. But I feel it's pretty accurate to Resident Evil 4, if you know what I mean. So we'll say the remake's about here as well. But aye, that has been my Resident Evil tier list. Pardon me, boysies. But anyway, I've got to go get ready for work. So, oh my god, what's Mikey doing up there? Why do I look so naked just sitting up there?